take the first today. What did it mean just to see him move around, get some snaps with your ones? Cam Taylor.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Yeah, Cam, good to see him back out there. He's kind of been progressing back into it, so feel good about him, and it was good to see him out there for sure.
How do things change for your unit once the pads do come on?
Well, I just think, we can evaluate all we want in the shorts and T-shirts, and ultimately what football is played with helmets and shoulder pads and getting off blocks and covering guys with all that stuff on, so it's different for both groups.
Obviously, just day one with the pads on. How physical would you say it is day one that you put those on?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good day for us, and I thought the offense did a good job as well. So it was good competition, and that was something we're preaching this year. So as always, but I thought it showed up today.
What have you seen from DJ and Dax so far in the quarterback competition?
Yeah, I think ultimately all those guys are going to play. We're always going to use a bunch of corners in a number of different schemes that we use. So I think right now they're both having good camps. So just keep getting better, keep stringing those days together, and we're pleased with both of them.
One thing that Zach said yesterday, Lou, is that the communication is what he notices from last year, even to this early stage of training camp now, and even in the off season. What have you seen in terms of the communication?
Well, we got two veteran players back there that have done it for a long time with Gino and Vaughn. And so anytime you do that, and those are obviously we know Vaughn very well, and Gino coming in was that guy too in terms of his knowledge of the game, his instincts, and all those things. So it just improved tenfold with those two guys back there.
What are your impressions of McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins?
Yeah, I'll be anxious to watch the tape today. So again, the first time with pads, they're going to have their moments, both good and bad, as rookies. But we'll see how it looks when we put on the tape. And ultimately, until we play the first couple preseason games, then we'll have a real evaluation of where those guys are at.
You're past the first impression stage for the free agents that you brought in. What has Gino meant? I know you mentioned the experience, but what has he brought to you?
Well, he's just a savvy veteran that knows football. So he comes from a defense that played really well at Baltimore, and he played a great defensive scheme at Iowa. So the guy's played good defense for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years of his life. So he knows the ins and outs. He knows where the holes are in the defenses. So he can anticipate things that maybe some other guys couldn't. So I couldn't be happy with him.
In the first week of training camp, are there things you can learn about a defensive unit that maybe you didn't know about your unit coming into training camp?
Sure. I think every group is different. Every year is unique in how we approach things, and I think the personality of this group is yet to be told, but it's forming in the right direction, and we're heading in the right direction based on what I'm seeing so far.
Do you think personality is one of the biggest things you can learn about a unit early on in camp?
Yeah, toughness, how you fight through the adversity, and there's going to be bumps in the roads. There's going to be distractions along the way, and let's hot out here, we're going a couple extra periods, and those guys handled it great. So the first hurdle, I thought they cleared just fine.
Did Miles get hurt, or did he just cramp up?
Just cramping.
With that in mind, Lou, with Sam out, with Trey out, at least to start camp, how important are these reps for guys like Miles and Cam Sam?
Well, I think it's great, for all those ends to get as many reps behind those guys, because again, we're going to rotate that group, and Sam and Trey are going to be there, but Miles, Joseph, Cam, those guys got to get a gazillion reps, and I'm glad that they're getting them.
How would you characterize the overall play of the D-line from what you've seen?
Today's the first day with pads, so again, I'll watch it, but so far it's been good. So far I'm pleased.
Not sure I've seen you guys do a live tackling period on the first day of pads. Is that just having the threes ramp up for that first preseason game?
I think so. Something Zach decided to do, and I thought it was those guys were ready for it. Everybody got excited on the sideline, so it was, hey, that's what we're going to do. We're going to play tackle football when it's for real. So at some point you got to do it.
Did you feel like you installed enough to do a lot today, or what do you think?
Well, each day is a different install, and it has it's kind of its own agenda, both offensively and defensively. So today's was install 6, and whatever we had on there is what we did. Now we'll pull from earlier installs. We have a good portion of it in, but this is a busy week for us when it comes to that. We're trying to have both sides of the ball, have everything in by the Tampa game. So we've got the rest of this week and next week to kind of get really everything in, and then we'll just kind of fill in as we go beyond that.
More impressed with Shaka's read or his hands?
That was one of those bad shot, good shot. So Joe Bocci set him up a little bit there, so it was great. But no, he made a hell of a play, and great instinct, saw the ball and went and made the play. So that was great to see. Oh, Joe, well, we had a different checkup for empty. They were in empty. And then Joe made a play call, which he has the right to do. So he wouldn't have made that pick if we were in the empty check. So it was good that Joe made that call.
See the new locker room yet?
Yeah, it was great. Oh, unbelievable. I mean, you talk about just what our organization has done for our guys, for our players, for the coaches, you know, from everything. The locker room now, the training room, you know, what we did in the weight room, and it's just first class all the way. It's awesome.